DIY Mum. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how you can take the simplest of things. This is an old lamp that I found at my loft when I put the Christmas decorations away. Didn't even remember I had it up there. I'm going to be giving this a quick upcycle by using paint and buying a new lampshade. Over the years, my style has changed, and I clearly put this at the loft thinking one day, just one day, I might make use of it. I need to turn this living room into a workshop, so just bear with me 2 seconds, guys. And that is going to be my workshop for today. So the first thing I'm going to do is take off this light shade. I no longer need this, but that's not to say it's not wanted by someone else. So I'm going to put this on Facebook Marketplace or leave it out the side of my front of my house to see if anyone wants to take this. For now, I'm just going to put it there, okay? The first thing I did when I got this from the loft is I actually put it into the mains, obviously put a bulb in it and made sure it worked before I started upcycling it, because I don't really want to upcycle something and then get to the end and it doesn't work. So this is actually in full working condition. Oh! The first step is to clean. This is a very important step, and I get a lot of questions asking, why clean if you're going to sand? The answer to that, all this dirt and grime, which here has a lot because it's been sat in my loft for years, is going to get sanded into the grain of the wood. Also on bigger projects, if you're sanding with an electric sander, an orbital sander or mouth sander or bout sander even, all the dirt is going to clog up your sander as well. So it's just easy if you listen and clean. I've got this Frenchy concentrated sugar soap. It tells you on the back how to apply this. You need to do part sugar soap with part water. I've got mine here. Here's what I made earlier on. I'm just going to get a kitchen sponge. These are like 35p from stores across the UK for a pack of like 5 or something like that. It's absolute bargain. So I'm just going to dip my sponge and then literally just clean. Be careful that I don't get any into the electrical part, because that would be silly of me. Once that's done with the sponge, I'm just going to get some kitchen paper towel and just dab it dry. Well, not dab it dry, I'm just going to dry it. So I'm going to take off all the excess water and make sure it's a dry surface. That is one clean lamp. What's the next stage, you ask me? I'll show you. The next stage is the sand. So obviously I'm going to paint this, so all it needs is something to adhere to. So it literally needs a 120 sandpaper, and all it needs is a little buffer sand, just so that the paint has something to grip hold of. We're going to manually sand this with my hands, because obviously getting an electric sander on this is pointless and it's far too small and it will do more harm than good. So yeah, let's go. So like all you need, literally all you need to do, and you can see it coming off there, just to give it a buffer, just to take that, whatever was on it first, probably some eggshell paint. We like to call this a buffer sand. Ooh, this is hard actually. Do you know what? It's harder than it looks. You need a lot of hand power for this. It's like a workout. Right, that's all done. So the next stage is I'm going to actually go back over this with a bit of sugar soap whilst I've got it out here, just because it's got a lot of dust from the sanding. So I'm just going to take all that off. Then do the process again with a bit of tissue and just dry it all off. Now ready for painting. It's as simple as that. It is ready to go. I'm using Frenchies Blackjack in their alfresco range. I have used Frenchies paint for over the last 3 years on all my projects, and I would not go anywhere else. I love this stuff. First thing first is to open the tin and stir that bad boy. When it comes to painting, less is more. Is that the right saying? Less is more. More is less. Less is more. I'm gonna go with less is more. I don't know if that's the right saying. Anyway, you don't want to be going in with a full paintbrush this thick. Oh, I don't actually know you can see it because it's black on black there. Yes, but you don't want to be going in with a paintbrush thick of paint. You want to be getting as much excess paint off as possible. This will enable you to have a better finish. You won't have any drip marks. There won't be too much excess paint on what you're painting. So literally, I hardly have anything on that brush. We're gonna softly paint around, paint with the grain. And then you're just gonna work your way up using the little paint you have, getting in all those nooks and crannies. Might need a little bit more, but again, just wipe the excess off so that you're not left with too much on the paintbrush. These kind of bits of furniture and stuff, sometimes you get the spindles on the legs of furniture. These are actually really quite tricky to paint because you've got to make sure you get all in those little grooves. That is the first coat painted. Simple as that. I now need to wait for this to dry to then put the second coat on, but obviously you can see how little paint I had on my paintbrush and how much it's covered already of the lamp. This is touch dry within an hour. Obviously I've put hardly any paint on it, so it'll be quicker than that. However, I am going to go with what it says on the tin and leave 2 hours between each coat. I'm gonna go give my paintbrush a little wash out, put the lid on here, go collect my children from school, and then I'll be back to do another coat. We are back in the room. It's been over 2 hours, so it is now touch dry and ready for another coat of paint. We go straight in with the same method, obviously with as little as possible on the paintbrush, and then we can keep going until the coats are done. Let's go. Already with 2 coats, it's starting to look really, really good. In fact, this has actually taken really well to this lamp. Quite impressed. I'll let that dry for another 2 hours again, and then I'm gonna go again with another coat and then see if it needs any more after that. I'm gonna do, because it's becoming quite dusky outside and it's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon and we're in winter in the UK. So I'm gonna do those 2 coats, probably the next 2 coats off camera, and then I'm going to check in with you tomorrow morning. I'm going to come back and show you the last stages and how to do the rest. Good morning, it's a new day. With a new day comes a new hat. Okay, so I painted 2 more coats last night of the blackjack off camera. The next step is to grab a 240 grit sandpaper and just very, 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 very lightly go over, just to kind of give it a little bit of silky smooth, and there's a slight, like a little bit of paint that's set weirdly, or a bit of dust, whatever. So we want to go over with a 240 grit and it literally just very, very gently. Now you don't have to do this process. This part isn't a must. You do get a nice finish with 120 grit and painted on, but I like to have an extra silky kind of finish to it. So I'm really not putting too much pressure. You can actually go a higher grit. I've only got a 240 grit. You can go like, say, I think 320 or 400. Okay, so after you have just given it a last sand down with a 240 grit or higher, you're going to go in with 1 more coat of paint. Same method of, hardly having any paint on the paintbrush. That is all the painting done. So once dry, I'm gonna go over with some finishing coat from French Ink Paint. This will just give it an extra protection. If you are painting high traffic items or furniture, then I always suggest sealing it. You have a couple of ranges from French Ink paints that don't actually need sealing. So the trim paint, they don't need sealing because they're so robust. But the al fresco range, even the lazy range, I get to give an extra little bit of protection, especially if it's high traffic. I have 2 children, it's a very busy household. This, it is going to be picked up, it's going to be knocked, it's just going to be. Oh, good afternoon, it's now afternoon. We are pretty much finished with this lamp. Final step is to apply some French Ink. This is Tough Top Coat. It's the same as finishing coat, but this is a matte finish. Finishing coat is more of a gloss finish. I just went with this because that's what I could find, to be fair. I'm using one of my little trusty 35p for 5 sponges. Just gonna use this spongy side, not the hard bit, and then just lightly apply 2 coats of this. Let's go. We're done. I'm gonna give it another one once it's dry, okay? So in 30 minutes I can apply 1 more coat and then it's fully dry after 16 hours. So I'll put another coat on that in half an hour. In the meantime, I'm gonna do the exciting part and I'm gonna put the new light shade that I brought. This is my new light shade. I got from Dunelm in the sale. I think it was £17 or something on the lines of that. There you have it. You get a brand new lamp. And then we got it, my new lamp. I do the honours. Drum roll, please. Oh, beautiful.